Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, I should say. It's the 27th of the 4th, 2015. Okay, we have a lot of rain coming to southeast Queensland and eastern New South Wales. How much? Anywhere between 50 and 100 for inland parts of southeast Queensland, down the coast of New South Wales, and potentially up to 300 in parts of far southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales, with remaining parts from 1 to 200 down the coast here. I have a lot to get through, so I'll race through it, and I'll be explaining on why and how this system is forecast to produce this rain. Here is another take of rainfall totals from the system, from Tropical Tidbits. You'll see here the colouring shadings. You've got up to 5 inches or 6 inches of rainfall there in parts of the southeast Queensland coast, extending down the New South Wales coast as well. Obviously, the greater falls are from about Fraser Island south and extending in over the Darling Downs and down in through northern and eastern New South Wales there. So quite a significant amount of rainfall. This chart is the GFS totals chart from Weather Zone for the next 0 to 7 days. You can see that the areas of 300 mil down the eastern New South Wales coast, northeast New South Wales coast are maxed out at 300. Further up here in southeast Queensland, they're around about the 200, especially from about the Sunshine Coast south to Brisbane, Ipswich, Gold Coast, east of the ranges there. That's about where the ranges run through, with reasonable falls over southern inland Queensland as well. Okay, so what is potentially going to cause this? The models are all starting to come together now, definitely with the agreement of an upper level low and trough system of cold air and a deep onshore flow coming in. And of course, the moist deep onshore flow mixes with the cold air and down she comes. There is a scenario as well that an east coast low may develop. If an east coast low doesn't develop, there's certainly a greater chance for a deep trough to develop along the coast, which is where the winds turn like that, dip in and really smash into the coast. That is for Friday. There's a little bit of variance on the timing of that east coast low if it does develop. Sometime late Thursday, definitely into Friday if it does. If not, as I mentioned, a deep trough down the coast producing heavy rain areas anyway. That's for Friday. You can see that on Saturday it is forecast to shift down the New South Wales coast. Don't expect it to hang around and cause a significant damage like last week to the central coast of New South Wales. It would be much rather or more likely to be a bit of a quick hit of 100 mil and then move away. Obviously, it's still going to cause some troubles and issues if already saturated ground in that. Here is the forecast, 24-hour rainfall forecast for Wednesday. This is from OCF. This is a conservative model, and it also combines a lot of computer outputs put together to give you an average. You can see that on Wednesday afternoon or during Wednesday, the showers start to occur from Rockhampton south all the way down the coast, and the upper level trough starts to trigger some showers over inland parts, showers and storms over inland parts there of southern Queensland. Thursday is the day things are forecast to really ramp up. Not only over inland parts, you're looking at up to 40 mil there conservatively, but also from the coast from Fraser Island south to, say, Lismore, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast. The closer you are to the coast, the more rainfall likely. I think there's areas there up to about 80 or 100 mil there in the 24 hours to Thursday. But we could see up to 200. Obviously, this is the conservative model. And on Friday, the heavier falls shift down the coast into northeast New South Wales. So what is causing it? I'm just going to move my chart up here so that I can see what I'm looking at so I don't get confused. On Wednesday afternoon, an upper level trough enters New South Wales and starts to come into Queensland. You can see that the temperatures here at about 18,000 feet, very cold, minus 15, 17, they grade down. So cold air coming. At the same time, you've got a deep onshore flow. All right, so plenty of moisture coming in off the Pacific, feeding into the cold air and creating an area of instability. Thunderstorms over the southern inland, showers along the coast, spreading inland, developing further. On Thursday, here is the upper level low feature that GFS is forecasting. Thursday morning, you can see its position here in northwest New South Wales. Obviously, there's a lot of cold pool wrapping around, a lot of cold air wrapping around there. And the winds deepen, the onshore winds deepen. So we're getting up to 6,000 feet now where all the winds are starting to come onshore. And this is what we start to look for. Any areas where they start to converge and tighten together there can lead to enhanced rainfall. So obviously, over the Darling Downs and the southeast coast as that cold air interacts with the warm moist air. Thursday afternoon, there's the cold pool over northwest New South Wales. Still, it's remaining, it's slow moving, and you can see the gradient, the cold down to the slightly warmer towards the coast. So as those winds come in, it creates a broad area of instability and obviously rain areas with some heavy falls. We go back down to the surface winds. You can see them coming in there, and they're increasing in speed over the Darling Downs and southeast coast of Queensland, and also in over northeast New South Wales to a bit of a surface low hanging in over here next to the upper low. So anywhere east of a line from about Longreach down through Coonabarabran in the inland parts, southern Queensland and northern New South Wales, you'd be looking at some potential thunderstorm activity. And over the southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales, some rain areas with potentially heavy falls there. This is the upper level low. Again, on Thursday afternoon, you can see it positioned out here. And those winds really coming down from the north in the upper levels. So as thunderstorms go up or rain areas go up, they spin around and create some heavy falls there. On Friday afternoon, the upper level low, it contracts through southern Queensland, starts to move towards the east. Again, it's creating a fair amount of instability through southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales. And that's the upper low on Friday, and you can see the rotational spin there of the upper low on Friday. On Friday, also, we have a very strong strengthening in the winds through here in southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales, and this is when that east coast low could develop along the coast here somewhere, anywhere probably south of about Fraser Island to northeast New South Wales. It's very hard to determine the positionings exactly of these lows this far out, and as we get closer, confidence gains more, and you're able to determine a better forecast. But generally all areas are going to be at risk of rain, some heavy falls, potentially up to 200 mils down the coast. You can see here on the Friday wind chart, there's really strong wind starting to rip in there to northeast New South Wales, so we could start to see the east coast low develop here on Friday morning, northeast New South Wales, increasing activity through there. 4 p.m. Friday afternoon, the upper low still spinning over northwest New South Wales. And Friday afternoon, all these deep winds coming in onshore, mixing in with that upper low, increasing rain and thunderstorms through there. 4 p.m. Saturday, the upper low starts to move off northeast New South Wales. You can see it there. But it also deepens the surface trough down the coast of New South Wales. As it crosses across the top, it deepens down south all the way down to Sydney. And on 4 p.m. Saturday afternoon, the low is right down there opposite Newcastle or Sydney. This could change, obviously, but that's the current standings of the computer modelling. Also, on Thursday afternoon, there could be some severe thunderstorms across southern inland Queensland. You can see the red shaded areas there. These will move around a little bit, but that is as the warm, moist onshore winds feed into the upper level cold pool out here. You're going to get a large amount of very unstable air mass in southern inland Queensland, so produce severe thunderstorms. Now, these severe thunderstorms would be most likely to contain heavy rainfall at this stage and potential hail because of the cold air aloft. On Friday afternoon, the thunderstorm activity contracts into southeast coast of Queensland, southern Queensland here, and into northeast New South Wales. You can see the shaded areas indicate thunderstorms. Red is potentially severe. Rainfall. Okay, Thursday is when it all really starts to ramp up. You can see these are 3-hour precipitation forecasts on Thursday afternoon. 30 mil in 3 hours over Brizzy. Some good activity here over the inland parts as well. And then 10 p.m. Thursday night, at this stage, Brisbane is really looking at copping a hammering, anywhere from Fraser Island south, with up to 80 mils in 3 hours there. Continuing rainfall over the inland parts. Friday morning, again, Brisbane south into the Gold Coast hinterland, northeast New South Wales. You can see that there's areas there of 100 mils in 3 hours on 4 a.m. on Friday. As we shift through Friday timeline, the heavy rain contracts to the south. Coffs Harbour there, 105 mil in 3 hours. And it continues to track south through Friday. You can see the bullseye targets close to the coast now. On Saturday morning, the heavy rain has shifted all the way down towards Newcastle with up to 75 mils in 3 hours there. So that's the system that we're looking at. We'll also have forecasts on the HSC app, which is available on Android and Apple. They're here in Queensland Forecast. It's got various radars, all of the bomb warnings here for every state there, notices, push notifications that we issue with the latest heads-up advices are there. You can see that what we issued there this afternoon, heads up southeast Queensland, northeast New South Wales for heavy rain on Thursday and Friday. 50 mil totals inland, 100 to 200 east of the ranges along the coast. Stay tuned. That would be for this video, and that's where we place our HSC Queensland forecast in there with all the text and video links and that sort of stuff. So it's certainly a very interesting time ahead. You can see here parts of central Queensland will receive a little bit of rainfall, maybe up to an inch there. Down into southeast quarter of the state, as you come towards the coast, the rainfall forecast significantly increase. So we're pushing up to 5 and 6 inches there on this US scale. So anywhere between 100 and 200, and that does extend at this stage down the coast of New South Wales and to adjacent inland parts where we could receive up to about 50 mil west of the ranges there. Obviously, places, if the East Coast low does develop, we're going to see an increase in winds. And if severe thunderstorms develop, we're going to see a risk of heavy rainfall leading to flash flooding with large hail, most likely over inland parts. And obviously any heavy rain areas from Fraser Island south, we could be looking at potential flash flooding there. Get further down the coast here towards Newcastle, we'll keep a close eye on that. Is a fair way out, and the New South Wales BOM have issued a media release, and they acknowledge the system and that they're monitoring it. There's a degree of uncertainty at the moment, but they are going for intense rainfall and strong winds in the northeast, including Northern Rivers, mid-north coast, and heavy falls likely for southeast Queensland. So we're just sort of starting to monitor this system very closely now, issue the relevant heads-up warnings and that sort of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some severe weather warnings issued, severe thunderstorm warnings issued for parts of southeast Queensland and eastern New South Wales. Alright, that's enough from me. Time flies when recording these videos, so I will go and post this one up. Stay tuned. We'll obviously bring live updates via Facebook and send push notifications out for any severe activity via the HSC app. Also produce further forecast videos as required. Alright, stay safe everyone. Get the brollies out. Here comes the rain.